I'm playing The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time as I do every single year. It's a pretty good video game, am I right? And I start up my game, and I notice something, and I'm going to warn you, once you notice this, you cannot unnotice it. It is not going to be removable from your memory. It's going to change your perception of The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. The way that you look at this game, it's gonna change. See that window? It's fake. The first window. They sold almost 10 million copies of this thing, and it has been lying to you for the entirety of its existence. Since 1998, this fake window has been sitting here right on top of Link's bed, and if you look around the room, there are no other windows in this room. It's just this one window. That's the only one that exists. How did I know this? How did I figure this out? Well, if you go outside here, you go outside Kokiri Forest, and you position yourself all the way over here in this little tiny corner. This is not using any sort of hacking equipment. This is just Link's house here. But if you go behind it, and you allow yourself to soak in the ambience of that Kokiri Woods, and you take your camera, and I'm warning you, you're not going to be able to unsee this. If you go into first-person mode, there it is. Where's the window? Where is the window, Nintendo? There should be a window there, but instead, and I'll go from the other side here too, instead, if you look at the back of Link's house, there's no window there. Where did the window go? It's supposed to be the best video game of all time, and yet here we are, in our complete befuddlement, absolutely bereft of windows over here behind Link's house. It's just gone. And it's not like it's a thing that they hid. This is the very beginning of the game. The first screen of the game has this thing in it that they screwed up, which I find very weird, which is making me question all of the windows in Ocarina of Time. So now it has been thrust upon me to check the other houses in this game. Here we have the twins' house. Let's go ahead and take a look at this. But yeah, it's very strange to me. It doesn't seem like there's any windows in here. I don't see any from the inside. Changing the view here, clearly no windows. Let's go ahead and look at the shop. You know, sometimes shops have windows in them. I've heard rumor to that effect. The shop does not have a window in it. If it does, we cannot see it because all of the shops in this video game, of course, are a static pre-rendered background, so you can't go into first-person mode. I'm just gonna not check the back of that one. It probably doesn't have a window back there. If it does, let me know in the comments. You know, go ahead and point that out to me. Here's another house over here. We got the great and powerful Mido. He's got a big old leaf on his house. I guess this is a tree that's gonna be growing back at some point. Anyway, no window in that house, so let's go ahead and check some other stuff. And there is one more house here in the Kokiri Woods. If you go inside it, there are no windows, unless you want to count this thing over here as a window. Is that a window? It looks to be a window. I have seen other windows in this game, and from the inside, that is what they look like. You know what? I'm counting this as a window. This is a window in this house. Let's go behind it and see if there's a window back there. If there isn't, I'm going to be very disappointed. And of course, why would there be? So they have a window that goes nowhere. So, just to check over here on the side, is there a window here? No. Alright, that's disappointing. Alright, I'm gonna have to check all the other houses. I have to check every other house in the game, and just for completionist's sake, there are no windows on the Great Deku Tree. I don't know why there would be, but Link's house is made out of wood. Maybe you could consider this a house. I would consider this a dungeon. Just for the video, I'm gonna say dungeons are not domiciles. They are not places where people generally live. So even though there may be a window in some dungeons, just so this video isn't an hour long, right? I'm not gonna be counting dungeons. Let's go on to the next area. Next main area that we have over here is the Castle Town, which of course has many, many windows to go check out. In this building, we have 1, 2, 3 of them, as you can see over here. If you go ahead and move one of these clay pots, you can look straight outside. So that does lead outside that building. Logically, there should be 3 holes on the other side of here. So, will we find 3 holes? Will we not? What does this guy over here on the left do? Does he just guard the windows? We don't know. There's all sorts of mysteries going on in this video game. Are there going to be textures on the outside of this wall? Yes or no? Place your bets, people. This is the last video that anyone is ever going to do about Ocarina of Time. There's no other mysteries to solve but how many windows are fake and not. And as we go to the left here, here's the moment of truth. There you go. 3 holes that represent the windows that they correspond to. Unbelievable. Next up, we have the Bazaar, which has 2 windows on the outside. Does it have any on the inside? We don't know, but as you can see, and this is going to be a reoccurring theme in this video, any sort of shop will not have easily accessible windows. Same goes for the Bombchu shop over here. That doesn't sell Bombchus. If you look at his wall, he doesn't have any on there. Very odd thing to name your store after the thing that you're not stocking on your shelves, but okay, whatever. Over here we have the Happy Mask Salesman's shop. He doesn't have any windows on the outside, no windows on the inside either, which leads us all the way over here on the left. My question is this wooden bar over here, is that a divider from the shooting gallery into the neighboring household? Is this like a duplex or something like that? Because if you go on the inside and you make a left and you actually see if there's a window there, there isn't any, but it would make sense for the wall to be there from the outside. I'm gonna discount this one just because there's no logical way to tell what's going on with this building, so I'm just gonna move on to the next area. In the back alley, we have a couple of buildings that we can go into. Nothing on the outside. Let's go ahead and see what's on the inside. And we got 1 window that seemingly goes into the neighboring building behind this room. I don't know how that would work. I can't call that a fake window because we cannot tell what's on the other side of this back alley. I guess, whatever, I guess that one's fine. It's a weird window going into somebody else's house. But if this is like a triplex or something like that, I suppose that one's okay. What about these other walls? What we got going on over here? Okay, well there's a window that just goes nowhere. That makes no sense whatsoever. If we go outside and we take a look at where this window should be going, that goes into a wall, right? That separates these 2 doors. So that should be going into whatever behind that door. So here, let's go back at night so we can actually enter this place. What is in this building? Okay, this is some kind of bar or something. Got a bunch of bottles over here. And as you can see on the left and the right, there are no windows at all into this building. So yeah, that's a fake window. That's another fake window over there. Doesn't go anywhere. It should be on that right wall, but it is not. And as long as it's nighttime, let's go ahead and take a look at this. There should be 3 windows, and as we go through that front door, let's see what we can find. What sort of mysteries are going to pop up out at us? I mean, technically, this could all actually make sense if this is a one wall being shared between a bunch of other buildings, and every single wall in this touches another building that we don't actually see. But wow, that is strange interior decorating. Look at that. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 windows in this one room. Very weird. I'm gonna discount this one. Technically, they all match up if there's a dividing wall there, but it's very odd. Very weird. If you're anything like me, you're probably wondering what's going on with the Temple of Time, and visually, what do you see? I see 6 windows on the front. I suppose you could consider those on the left and the right, those vertical bars. Those look like some kind of towers, but you can't access those, so whatever, let's just discount those. You can't see them from the inside anyway. And that triangle on the door, that's not a window in my eyes, but that does look like a window way up at the top. The left side of the Temple of Time cannot be accessed, so let's just go ahead and discount those. But there should be 2 on the side, and there should be 6 on the front. And clearly, there are no windows on the front of the Temple of Time from the inside. So, yeah, that's not good. You could say that there are 2 windows on the side, but if we zoom in on this, there seems to be a third window. And I understand that that's partially covered up by my little tiny attacking icon, but I think that's a third window there, so we're gonna say one fake window on the side. On the left side of the Temple of Time, there's no way to get over there, so can't tell. But on the front, there are, in fact, 6 fake windows, giving us a total of 7 fake windows out of the however many were there. I'm gonna put up a tally of how many fake windows we have so far. The checklist continues with Lon Lon Ranch, which I thought would be a very finished area because it's the central hub of the entire world map, and it really isn't. Over here we have 2 on the top. On ground floor down there we have another 2, so that's 4. And if we go around this corner, past this tree, there are another 2, as you can see here. So that should be 4 on the ground and 2 up top. This is hard to explain unless I do a YouTube video about it. People wouldn't believe this unless I was showing it to them. But check this out. There's nothing inside, and where those 4 windows on ground level would go, it's just a bunch of stairs. And over here on the left, I guess there's like a wall going on. So I don't know how they're getting into that building at the Lon Lon Ranch. Is there some sort of secret door that we don't know about? Is it a room that was removed later on in the designing process? Is it cut content? Is there deepest lore? We don't know. There's no real answers. Looking at the ceiling, there are skylights though, which is a type of window. I'm counting these. Going up these gigantic stairs, we also have a couple of things going on over here. There are 2 that face the outside, so these are fine. You can see these from the outside. That makes perfect sense. And now we have 2 mystery windows. And if you look up, there's a skylight up here. So we have 3 skylights are the main thing. I'm gonna discount these other 2 mystery windows because there's no real way to tell, like, geographically which way they would be pointing from the outside of the ranch. But yeah, if you look it up here, we gotta turn on the hacking tools here and do a little moon jump. These skylights, which should be up here, they're not. So I'm gonna count the 3 skylights. Those are all fake windows, and these 4, we don't know where this room is really. It's a mystery room. But these 4 windows on ground level, they're all fake as well. So there is one other place that I want to check before I close this little area out and I move on to the next one on the list, and it's this area. Most people would say that this is a complete waste of time to check out this little tiny storage shed, or whatever this is. I don't know what they use this for at Lon Lon Ranch, but it has a door on it. That's a type of building. You could live there if you wanted to. And as you can see from the outside, there is nothing to indicate that there would be something in there, but for completion's sake, we have to do it. And you're gonna be very shocked about this. There is, in fact, a light source in this area that comes from this window up here, which does not exist on the outside of the building, so that's another bad one. And turning on the moon jump, you can see here, if we go straight up, that is, in fact, a window which has no corresponding texture on the outside, so I'm counting that one as a fake window. So that's so far, that's 8 fake windows in the Lon Lon Ranch. Very lazily done part of the game, as far as texturing goes. And just because people are gonna bring it up, the little tiny stable area, there's nothing going on in here. It's a stable. Yeah, nothing going on in the stable. Next area. Moving on from Lon Lon Ranch, we have Lake Hylia, or some people pronounce that Hylia. I don't know how you want to pronounce that, but it's the main lake of the game. There are no other lakes in the game as far as I know. Maybe there are. Maybe there's I suppose technically, whatever, Zora's Domain. This is in the lake video, okay? We're here for windows, and only windows. And as we go and look around here, it does not seem like there are any on the outside of this particular domicile. This is the mad scientist area, the guy who does all his diving experiments and whatever he's doing over here. But there ain't no windows over here, and just to look on the back, there's nothing going on in the back either. Is there gonna be something inside? Let's find out. And this guy does not like the sun. Seems completely devoid of any sort of semblance of a window of any sort in this one particular area, but it does look cool. You have this netting going on up here, but there's nothing you could call a window. The fishing area doesn't have anything from the outside either. I'm gonna just go ahead and check inside. I don't think that there's anything gonna, pop out at me from over here, but look around. I don't see anything in here, do you? There's a guy scratching himself. That's about it. Let's move on to the next area. Okay, and this is getting exceedingly long. Who knew that there were this many windows in The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time? I didn't until I started making this video, but here we have Kakariko Village, which is really the most lived-in area with the most actual houses in it, so good place to go ahead and end it. This place on the left, we got one. Just one, that's kind of odd. I would have put two there. The sun is coming from that direction. And we have one on the front here. So what's going to be inside? Is it going to be 5? Is it going to be 10? Okay, we have one, and that's where it's supposed to go, which is very good. That's good that that's there. And then we have another one over here. So yeah, whoever designed this one particular building, they got paid for doing their job. I'm giving that the old Nintendo seal of approval. Back here we have the Cuckoo Lady in front of her building. She has one window right above her. That hole on the left, that's just a hole. There's 4 windows on this building. We got one in the front. We got another one on the side. There should be one more on the side. Give me one more. Okay, it's behind the stairs. It's hard to see there. I'll zoom in on it a bit. But that is a window. And then we have the one going out the back. As long as there aren't some mystery windows on the right here, this should be fine. Let's go ahead and change the perspective. I don't see any other ones. There's a bookcase over here. Yep, okay. Yeah, this building's good. Another one that actually is mapped out correctly. The rightmost building, right as you come in, has 2 on the side. Let's see if there's any more on the other sides of this house, dwelling, place where people live. It's made out of brick and mortar. It's got some windows on it. You got 2 on the side. We got one here on the back for 3. There's a 4th one on the side of the wall. I'm gonna go ahead and walk past that one, so that's 4. And there's a 5th one next to this wooden fence over here. So let's go inside and find out what's in there. Yeah, this is a very special house we got going over here. Not only is it infested with spider monsters, but there's no windows on the inside of here. Now, I don't know if you want to consider this like the curse of the spiders. Maybe they evaporated the second that they turned into arachnids, and those are just fake windows from the outside in order to convince people, like they're painted on, in order to convince people that normal folks are living inside this house and nobody bothers them. But you know what? I'm gonna have to call that 5 fake windows on there, so yeah, I did not see that one coming. That is, that's a new one on me. There is one more place in here that I want to go ahead and check out, and that is the graveyard. So, the graveyard is interesting, because you wouldn't think there'd be any windows over here. However, the gravekeeper, he has a little house, and that looks like a thing that you can enter. Okay, I have to come back at nighttime for this one. Okay, back at night, what's going on in here? Can we enter this? Is that a working window? And I am very surprised, but that looks to be a really weird-ass window to me. If you had, like, bet me money, I would have said that wouldn't have been there. This is a very weird room, by the way. It's a static background. This reminds me of, like, Resident Evil 1, 2, 3. I guess 0 would also be on here. That didn't come out on the Nintendo 64, by the way. It should have, but it didn't. But yeah, this one has a working window. This one works. Other observation, I'm not sure anybody has said this in the history of the world. Even the people that programmed this probably forgot about it. But the windows in the Temple of Time, and this really surprised me, during the regular timeline, they're perfectly normal. They have light coming into them. When you skip ahead into the future, when it's cloudy outside, the lighting on the windows changes. Did you ever notice that? Am I the only person who's ever observed this little tiny piece of trivia? I feel like trying to find more information about Zelda Ocarina of Time, it's like squeezing water out of a rock, but hopefully that's a little bit of interesting insight into the programming skills of the people over at Nintendo. They got some windows wrong, they got some windows right, but whoever was in charge with the lighting, they did a good job on this one specific spot. That is impressive. When they were making this thing, they were trying their absolute best, and really, That sets an example for how we, as human beings, should be operating. You gotta use your imagination a little, you gotta just say, sometimes a window is just a window and you move on with your life, and the only thing that I really got out of this is there's a lot of weird stuff in The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, and a lot of it is passed over because people are they're in such a hurry just to beat the game and be done with it that you don't notice the little details, and really that rolls over into real life as well. Who's gonna notice that Link has a bunch of pitchforks on his wall, or an axe, and a saw? And actually, this thing over here is a window.
Work too hard to gain a lot more than enough, as if I wanted to be someone else. I love the American way, I still do, but it shouldn't be the only way. I hated being in the shell. I just wanted to be sun on the grass. I'd rarely cried. I had to know what I should cry for. Everything had been taken for granted. Money had meant too much for me to see the world as it is. The more I gained,
well, the Mario window is like clearly fake. I don't know what's going on over here. How is this one mapped out? Oh, right, there's an Easter egg on that window, I forgot. I wonder if you can game over here. Okay, that's, that one's real.